Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Well, I want to start by thanking New Mercies Christian Church for being our gracious host today and for all of the organizers who had a hand in planning today's celebration. And to all of the folks, the community partners, our collaborators, the foot soldiers, everyone who's had a hand in serving this community. I'm proud of you, and I'm proud to have worked with you both in the past, both currently, and looking forward to working with you all in the future. So can I get a round of applause for, just as a celebration to everyone for supporting this great community? It really is, it's wonderful to have this opportunity to gather today and celebrate how far we've come since COVID-19 has entered our lives uninvited. In Gwinnett, we have never accepted things that are just good enough. We have a government that expects more because our residents and businesses expect and deserve better and better services. If you've heard me speak before, you've heard me talk about how we constantly strive to meet and uplift the Gwinnett standard. Thank you, Renee, for echoing that. That expectation of excellence in everything we do, it's what tells us not to simply rely on how we've done things in the past or to accept the status quo. We have a long history of working to exceed expectations and anticipate needs. But despite our preparation and future planning, none of us could have anticipated the disruption and struggle of the COVID-19 pandemic. Amid the pandemic, issues like food insecurity and housing insecurity were exposed and exacerbated. Fortunately, our strong foundation, many of you here today, gave us a starting point to tackle these issues. In March of 2020, when the pandemic had its first major impacts in Georgia, we got to work to ensure our residents didn't go hungry. In one weekend, we flipped our senior meal services to entirely home-delivered meals. And in May, when the school year ended, our summer meals program started back up and has since served more than 576,000 meals during summers to children and to adults with physical or mental impairment. We partnered with community organizations like the Atlanta Community Food Bank to host markets, bring additional county services to residents, and reach our diverse communities. And through 153 markets, we've distributed 1.1 million pounds of food to people in need alongside 90 community partners. We also jumped in to support the amazing organizations in this community working every day to help residents. At the height of the pandemic, partners couldn't receive their Atlanta Community Food Bank orders fast enough. So the county used its vehicle fleet to transport food, personal care products, and personal protective equipment, and we still do this to this day. We've transported 3.9 million pounds of food and supplies for our community partners. We also gave residents a way to get involved, building 9 community gardens to give them a safe place to grow their own food with hands-on learning provided by staff and partners. The gardens also include share rows to provide fresh produce to emergency food providers throughout our entire community. And we've been able to donate more than 6,400 pounds of food from those gardens alone. But we know food insecurity isn't the only challenge we face. And housing insecurity and affordability also weighs heavily on our residents' minds, our minds, especially when the pandemic-related loss of income. We've taken several steps to keep people safely housed and sheltered during the pandemic. In 2020, we launched Project Reset, thanks to our fearless and fabulous Commissioner Marlene Foscue, who jumped into action to work with our Magistrate Court, Christina Bloom, with Matt Elder of Home First Gwinnett, to help residents impacted by COVID-19 stay in their homes and avoid eviction. And through Project Reset, we've invested $6.2 million in our community, serving more than 1,300 households with past due rental payments. Then we launched Project Reset 2.0, and that was done last year to provide emergency rental and utility assistance using federal emergency rental assistance funds. And so far, we've distributed more than $63 million to residents in need, keeping almost 15,000 people housed and connected to essential utilities like water, power, and internet. We also recognize that there are unhoused people and people without running utilities that need a place to go where they feel safe and they feel welcome. So this past winter, we opened our warming stations at 5 locations around Gwinnett, and this is the first Gwinnett has ever taken on an initiative like this. And when temperatures dropped to 35 degrees or below, our stations activated to give residents a place to warm up, get a warm meal, and get some much needed rest through the night. Last winter, we kept more than 1,000 residents out of the cold on frigid nights. It kind of saddened, yes. It's amazing that we were able to help 1,000 residents, but that's 1,000 residents that are still unsheltered, and that number is still alarming. Keeping people fed and housed are critical ways to keep them healthy, but we must also continue to encourage vaccination to ensure our community is protected through this pandemic. And I'm looking right at Dr. Arona. She's shaking her head. She agrees with me. Last year, with the first widespread availability of vaccines, we partnered with the GNR Health Department to open the Gwinnett Place Mall mass vaccination site. Then we worked with Piedmont Eastside to open another site to enhance access in southern Gwinnett, which operated for about a year before closing earlier this month. To date, more than 1.4 million doses of vaccine have been administered in our county, and about 67% of residents have received at least one dose, and 61% are fully vaccinated. I was proud to be on the front lines of helping to roll out the vaccination effort. That when I was elected and when I started my term, I never knew that a pandemic was going to be part of my strategies. You know, no one runs for office to say, that's the thing I want to solve is a pandemic. But here we are, and we're still battling and still on the front lines of ensuring that we protect lives, that we save people from this deadly disease. Well, we have lots to do, and we have lost too many people to this deadly disease, but our multi-layered efforts have and are continuing to pay off. And with the help of federal funding, we've been able to increase access to vaccines through special community events, vaccinating almost 8,000 people at those events. And we'll continue to do everything within our power to share the science about these life-saving shots, put targeted messages in place for specific populations, and remove barriers to vaccination across our community to ensure that those who are most vulnerable have access. And we've been putting federal dollars to use throughout our community by distributing them to local community organizations who've been supporting residents all along. Our residents have so many different backgrounds and circumstances in this community, and that means different approaches to meet different needs. But together, we've targeted those needs to make a real difference for Gwinnett's vibrant and diverse population. Through the challenges of the pandemic, we've been able to leverage existing partnerships and new ones with many organizations, many of you here today in the audience, to make the best use of the funding we've been provided to support our community. And we're still supporting residents and businesses. The county recently launched One Stop for Help, which operates through a team of community navigators. Are any of our community navigators here? Hey, give it up for our community navigators. So they work directly with Gwinnett residents to identify resources for food insecurity, financial or emergency assistance, employment, mental health, or utility assistance, and more. This program creates a continuum of care, forming a core need of service of health and well-being for our residents. Residents can call, walk into a one-stop center, or visit GwinnettOneStop.com to easily find assistance. And we're using those relationships I talked about to enhance the way we support residents. And one great example of that is when our fire and emergency services personnel identify people who frequently contact emergency services for help, we connect our community navigators directly to those individuals. And our public safety personnel, police, sheriff, fire, are all working cohesively with partners in mental and behavioral health to work through mental and behavioral health crises rather than criminalizing these issues. And I see Jennifer Hibbert here. I know she would agree with me that a partnership with our police department is invaluable. So we're working to ensure Gwinnett's children also thrive from their earliest days with programs like Building Brains Anywhere. A Shirley Carver Miller Learning Initiative is a county-wide early learning program that serves children, parents, and caregivers by providing safe, fun, and engaging early learning opportunities to children. An early learning strategy is critical. Statistics show that only 46% of Gwinnett students enter kindergarten ready to learn. And all of the county's public elementary schools have students enrolling without skills needed for kindergarten. And that's alarming, and that's something that we should all be paying attention to. After just over a year in existence, this program has already been recognized as its social justice approach by the National Association of County Park and Recreation Professionals. And I want to give it up for our Building Brains team. This year, the county also launched the Career Starts Here Gwinnett Empowering Youth program, targeting ages 15 to 21, to learn what it's like to have a career with Gwinnett County government. And as I came in, I think I met two of our young ladies who are here with our Career Starts Here program. Ladies, just wave. Serving in our Community Services Division. And this is an opportunity to give youth a behind-the-scenes look at what a career is like in the public sector. More than 70 interns are currently at work with Gwinnett, exploring career options, preparing for interviews, learning business etiquette, and developing leadership skills. And most importantly, they're getting paid for their hard work. They're getting paid $15 an hour. That's pretty substantial. But we're excited to make this an ongoing and continual opportunity for our youth. Opportunity often comes out of those challenges, and we've certainly seen that in Gwinnett. The COVID-19 pandemic has had a catastrophic effect on so many families. Families that have lost parents, brothers, sisters, children, loved ones. And while there's no way to say that the pandemic has caused net good, it has been a revealing time. It has been a revealing time that has led to positive change. And going forward, we must commit to identifying these issues and addressing them as efficiently as possible. So let me share some of our plans. One, to complete a comprehensive human service needs assessment and strategic plan is critical. 30 years ago, in 1991, Gwinnett conducted a community-based needs assessment, which established a base foundation for many of the community-centric services we offer today. The results of that assessment eventually evolved into our current one-stop centers, which offer comprehensive, locally clustered services with an interagency approach. But a lot has changed since 1991, and we are not the county we were 30 years ago. So we're launching a new needs assessment. And our 2022 Comprehensive Human Service Needs Assessment and Strategic Plan will be a year-long process and will create a roadmap for our social service ecosystem of support. This critical study will optimize access and the delivery of services, identify disparities and gaps, linking the emerging and unknown. It will enhance engagement and outreach with community organizations, faith-based providers, service providers, school system, and most importantly, with our residents. And while we conduct that assessment, we're also working to enhance services we already know that we need. We've allocated $25 million from the American Rescue Plan to expand one-stop operations in southern Gwinnett, and an additional $30 million of ARPA funds to create a one-stop Gwinnett, which would act as a central hub for people seeking resources related to shelter, food, employment, mental health, and so much more. Another area of need being addressed is our veteran and family services. Gwinnett County has more than 39,000 veterans, and veteran services are met through government programs and community-based organizations. So we're working directly with the VA to bring services to Gwinnett and veterans here in Gwinnett. Our Navigators, together with local veteran-focused partners, can help with housing solutions, food insecurity, continuing education, GI Bill loans, mental health, employment, medical services, legal advice, and more. The county is also working to provide access to health and social services through a unique coordinated care technology system. The system will process referrals with a digital solution that uses social determinants of health to uncover high-need populations and develop targeted intervention strategies to improve health and social care for Gwinnett residents. Residents will receive assistance through a personal touch with a navigator or provider with enhanced technology to solve social service issues. And most important, it stops the chase for services and missed connections. Providers who operate on this coordinated care system will have the opportunity to apply for and receive funding from county and other sources for work accomplished. And finally, to further grow the mission and scope of Volunteer Gwinnett, and I see Miriam Nafis back there, she does an incredible job. We're preparing for an initiative called Gwinnett Serves to assist the nonprofit community. Gwinnett Serves will work with local nonprofits and community partners to facilitate and connect residents to local service projects and needs that affect the Gwinnett community. So watch out for official announcements this fall as we work towards another historic Gwinnett Great Days of Service. I'm so incredibly proud of this community. We've all been dealt a difficult hand in dealing with this pandemic, and I truly think the county and the organizations that serve here have risen to that challenge, each and every one of you. And still, we continue to form the vibrant connections that unite this community, that create the amazing sense of place that we all enjoy. We work together to innovate, to develop new ideas, and to reach new heights in enhancing quality of life for our Gwinnetians. We've already accomplished so much, but I can't wait to see all that we'll do to support the amazing people who call Gwinnett County home. And I'm so thankful for all of your continued support as we meet the ever-evolving needs of this community. And I want to close with my favorite African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. As long as we work together, build coalitions, establish partnerships, broaden the table, there is nothing we can't achieve in Gwinnett. Thank you, have a great day, and I want to wish all the dads a happy Father's Day.